Discmania C-Line Glow P3.
Mama told me I was her angel sent down from heaven. When I was a little one, enthusiasm caught my dome and lessons, teaching me about the seven and how I should be a reverend.
What's going on, everybody? Scott at Perspective Disc Golf, giving you disc reviews. I like to give disc reviews in a lot deeper of thought, of detail than others that I see on there, on YouTube and all over sites. I just want to give you my thoughts, my perspective. I like looking at things at different perspectives, hence the channel name and the brand I'm trying to grow. But first disc review I'm going to show you is this one right here. Discmania C-Line Glow P3. They got the nice confetti firework stamp, what they call it. And first impressions of this disc after they sent me this, it's domey and it's a putter. So I'm expecting it to be really overstable, really stable. Have to really, concentrate on scaling it down. And these P3s help me on those few holes, especially on the third hole. I mean, the third hole I ever played with these P3s, I hit the basket with the P3. I mean, it was incredible. I like throwing these just on a nice, maybe a little bit hyzer, but off to the right, and just keep it on that right side. And the overstable finish comes over. It feels like an Innovator or a hyzer mortar if you've thrown that. Nice and domey. It reminds me of it just because of its domey, and it kicks out right here. The rim feels like it, but it's just a little thinner. So if you're like a beginner and you're thinking about getting a gator, I'd say go with the P3. Nice and overstable. If you don't have the biggest of arms and you want something that doesn't go too far but goes left or right if you're lefty, I'd say get these P3s. For me, I can scale them down. I get a nice forced anhyzer flex out of it. Real nice. I also I don't really throw spike hyzers with these. I don't really know why people throw spike hyzers with putters. That's not just my thing. But if you need to throw a nice hyzer, these are amazing for it, under like 300 feet. They also, in this C-Line plastic, like this champion type plastic, you can get some skips out of it. And it won't hit and sit. It'll just like hit and roll away and skip away a little bit just because of the plastic it's in. But in this max weight, it's amazing. About a year ago, I had a P3 and it was a little flatter than these, not as domey, not as stable. I had a 171 or 172. And it would come out of my hand and turn over, and I wouldn't really have an overstable finish with it. So I kind of put the P3 off, stick with the P2s for the past year for driving putters. But when the guys over at Discmania Store and Ryan, when they sent these out to me, I was actually really excited because of the glow plastic, max weight. I just love these. I mean, this is my first day throwing these. I'm gonna keep them in the bag for about a week or so, and then within a week I'll show some of my rounds, my thoughts about these, and within about a week or so I'll come back to you with my final thoughts on this disc. But right now, after the first day of using this, I think I'm gonna keep one in the bag and have the other one as backup, because this is probably gonna get me a lot of birdies and save me a lot of strokes on the course getting close to the basket. Alright, so it's been about a few weeks, about 2-3 weeks, and I've been throwing this C-Line Glow P3 from Discmania, the one they sent out. I actually have a matching pair. Max weight, kind of domey, if you can kind of see that. And I definitely like this for a driving putter. It's really nice, not as overstable as you'd like it. If you want an overstable putter, I'd recommend the C-Line P2. This thing is like a mini gator, I call it. It still has that dump, still has that flight, without the kick and flip, or the kick and dump, I like to call it, as a gator has. This just goes out flat and hooks. But that's my main overstable putter. This is my main driving stable putter, I guess you could say. This thing, I like to flip it, or throw on hyzer, flips out flat and goes pretty straight with a little bit of fade. Also holds a really nice ante if you need it tight. You don't need something to cut and roll, but you don't want something to like flex out real quick. People really like this disc. Beginners, they kind of throw it pretty straight and it'll hook up more. If you have slower arm speeds, it's definitely for you. For faster arm speeds like myself, I like to slow down on this, throw it about 75%, and that's where it really becomes stable to overstable. but I like throwing this nice and hard with hyzer and goes pretty straight. But that's my final thoughts on the P3. Like I said, it'll stay in my rotation. Depending on the courses, if it's a shorter course or a calm day, I'll have it in. But if it's a longer course and I need more drivers and it's a lot windier and need more stability, definitely just gonna take it out of the bag just for that. But it's definitely a great disc. For me, I love throwing putters, and that's gonna stay in my bag. Alright, just wrapping up the review on the Glow C-Line P3s. This is my final thoughts for it. These things are awesome. I don't know why I took them out of the bag when I originally did the start of the review at the start of the spring. Had a lot of time with it, but I took them out of the bag. And I didn't throw them much. And I only threw the P2s. And I needed that stable putter back in my life, and I put them back in recently in the past 2 weeks. And it's unbelievable. By the footage from I got today, I pretty much threw it on every hole on any line, even 400-foot rips. I put this about 325, 350 on some of them. Hyzer, straight, and hyzer, distance, they hold. They can hold up to anything, and they're so versatile. And I don't know if you can see, but they are pretty shallow. Just as a comparison, you got a P2 D-line and then the Glow C-Line P3, and you can kind of tell that it's just a lot shallower than the P2. It's not as deep of a rim. It's just a little shallower, a little easier to grip. It feels a lot better for a driving putter, something you want to really rip. Kind of reminds me of like a DX wedge, or just a wedge in general from Innova. How it's, you know, smaller, but you really can just rip it for a nice roller, huge turnover. But for these are so versatile. Definitely staying in my bag now. I'm glad I revisited these, and yeah, get one, please. It will reinvent your game. So if you want to check out these Glow C-Line P3s, or just any P3, you know, C-Line or D-Line P3s, go to store.discmania.net and pick them up now. Enjoy.